All right. I think we are live. All right, we are live. And hello, everyone. All right, welcome to our Facebook Live from Focus on the Family Singapore. It's so great to see everyone and we're live. Just to make sure that we are live. If you are also live together with us, maybe you can, if you can hear us clearly and you can hear me clearly, at least give a like, a thumbs up, or a heart shape, whatever you call it. Give response, reaction. At least we know that you are connected, all right, or we are connected with you together. All right, yeah, all right. See, my guests are very cooperative. All right, we do all the very cool. We are cool dads. All right, today. All right, so it's so good to be here together with all of us this evening. And once again, thank you for all of you for logging in, for tuning in to this episode of our Focus on the Family Singapore Facebook Live. We have it monthly. We talk about various topics relating to family, parenting, marriage, work-life balance, and of course, in this season of post-circuit breaker, and then we have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. We talk about work from home stuff. So there's a lot of things we talk about. So thank you for tuning in. And this week is a very special episode because it's really in line with Father's Day as well. Father's Day is coming up this weekend, and on today's show, we have two very special guests, my wonderful guests, wonderful friends, and they are fathers themselves. And today they're on this show to share with all of us their journey through the 60 days of circuit breaker, and then now entering phase 1. And tomorrow is another memorable day, right? We are entering into phase 2. All right. Okay. So I think both my guests this evening are ready to share their learning, their journey. All right. So with me, my name is EJ, hosting this show tonight, and on my show tonight will be Daryl. Daryl with your hands. All right, Daryl with your hands. Show everyone that's Daryl. And we have Josiah. All right, Josiah. So
hi everyone.
Yeah. All right. Maybe for a start, I'll just get them to introduce themselves. Okay. And maybe let's have Daryl start first. Daryl, come tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay. Thank you, EJ. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Okay. My name is Daryl. I'm a PE teacher. I've been teaching for about almost a decade. Yeah, very close to how long I'm married as well. I'm married 9 years. I have 2 girls, one in primary 1 this year and N2, the other one 4 years old as well. So I'm very appreciative that EJ is a good friend of mine, invited me on this show. So hopefully we can share some nuggets. I'm still learning. I think all of us are. So yes, to you, Josiah.
Thanks, Daryl. All right, over to you, Josiah. Tell us a bit more about you and some of this crazy stuff, Josiah, you're doing during this circuit period.
Thanks, EJ. Thanks for the introduction, Daryl, for throwing me the baton. I'm very happy to be on this show together with you guys. You guys are very cool. I caught up with you guys prior to this. Hi, everyone. My name is Josiah. I actually work in media and advertising. I have a 3-year-old kid, coming to 4 actually. It's been such an exciting journey for me. I've been married for about 5 years. Yeah. This whole circuit breaker has been an interesting experience. Yeah, and I'll leave it to later to share what kind of crazy things that we've been doing.
Thanks, Josiah. So just reintroducing myself again, EJ, and I'm married for 10 years. I have a boy, 5 years old. All right. So as you can see on the show today, we have all of us actually are quite young parents. All right. So just because Daryl and myself have goatee doesn't mean we look old. We are old. All right. We are still very young parents.
I should have left.
Yeah. So really, and Daryl has 2 girls. So he's like the princess. All right. He has 2 princesses at home, and then for me and Josiah, we have 2 young boys at home. All right. So and to all the audience out there, you're tuning in. Welcome into our Facebook Live show. If you have any questions that you want to ask others, ask 3 of us, the 3 dads here, feel free to fire your questions away in the comment section, and we'll pick it up and we'll do our best to answer along. All right. If I can't answer, I make sure the 2 guests will answer. Put the pressure on them.
No pressure. Yeah.
No pressure. Today, before the show, we already said that we're here to just be authentic and share about our lives, our journey. All right. Okay, so maybe let's kick off with very first question, I think, we've been through like what, 60 days of the circuit breaker period, and for some of us, we've been working from home even way longer, like 3 months, and now entering phase one. This is like the new norm, all right? And I'd like to hear from both of you guys, all right? How has the circuit breaker been for you as a working dad, Josiah as a media professional, Daryl as a teacher? How has it been for you? And particularly as a working father, what do you find it especially challenging or difficult for you? Come, who shall go first? Daryl go first. Come, Daryl, share with us.
Arrow me again. Today you are the teacher, I'm the student. It has, okay, let me see, where should I start? It has been an interesting experience. It's the first, right, for everybody anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it has, it impacted me quite a bit at the start. I can have to be very, very honest. Yeah, because usually I'm not home 24 hours. Yeah, so that is already, that in itself is a very big impact. Yeah, so the whole CB has been helping me to see that being at home is doable, yet it is not easy, and it is a learning journey for myself lah. And actually, the one very enjoyable thing I like is to wake up late. Talking to educators out there lah, I think they will have to agree. But that's actually one of the plus point that I think of this CB for myself. Yeah, that I don't have to wake up, because I usually have to wake up about 5:30 in the morning, and that means I have to sleep quite early, which I don't. So the CB helped me to balance that time very well. So I think I got a lot more rest for my CB. Yeah. And talking about struggles. Okay, I share with you one big struggle. I'm someone that like a lot of me time. my wife knows. So, yeah. Okay. I love my personal space, my me time. My wife knows when I'm not back home, where am I? Yeah. So during this CB, it has been very, very challenging. Two reasons. I don't have my me time. I don't have my personal space. Just give you a bit of orientation. My house, so I have 3 rooms. 2 are my daughters. They have 1 room each. So I don't have a study room also. So the whole time it was very difficult. My workstation is my dining table. So I'm always around the two princess lah, like you're saying, and plus my wife lah. So that is a very big impact for me. I can't go anywhere. I can't go to a kopitiam, sit down for my coffee, which I like to do. Tell you frankly, got a few times I sat in my car.
Oh, right.
Yeah, like I drove out somewhere. I sat in my car for like 20 minutes just to get my me time. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. And it's so true, right, Daryl? You talk about this part about where you don't have your me space, your me time, and it feels quite true for most dads that we need our own cave, our own time to. It's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a good thing because it helps to recollect our thoughts. Maybe calm ourselves down, and we can get into a better frame before we handle other matters. Right?
The cave lah. We like to go into that cave. Yeah.
Man cave.
Yeah, and me being I'm actually a introvert myself. Yeah. So the me time recharges me. Yeah. So that has been a struggle actually, if you ask me. So I had my strategies lah. So maybe I'll leave that to later. So that's my main struggles.
Thanks, Daryl, for being real. We're keeping it very real here. And if you are a working dad and you are tuning into our Facebook Live, feel free to share with us also what has been your greatest challenge and struggle during the circuit breaker period as well. Yeah, so I noticed on Facebook, Daryl goes running a lot lah. Maybe that's the way he coped up. How about you, Josiah? Josiah, share with us how has circuit breaker been and what are some of the challenges you face?
Yeah, it's so nice to hear from you, Daryl, because I can actually identify with few stuff that you have mentioned. I mean, in fact, you sit in your car, I will volunteer to go and tapao breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because I love my family, yes, but part of the reason is also so that I can, on my way to the market, spend a little bit of that me time. Yeah,
Me
so
too,
that,
me
that
too.
was.
I take I take longer than I expect.
Go one round around the park first before you arrive at the kopitiam. Yeah. So for me, me time was also something that I kind of struggled. Yeah. And I think beyond that, it was also trying to balance my responsibility, as an employee and as well as a responsible father. I mean, because it feels like you are supposed to be in two places at once. You're supposed to be with your kid in the same room, and then he wants your attention. While at the same time, you have an urgent call that's coming in from a client or like a colleague. And so you actually have to face, certain dilemmas here and there. Do I try to explain and then get on the call? What does that actually teach my kid? Or do I actually say, sorry, Mr. Client, or sorry, Mr. Boss, I have to actually deal with my kid. Yeah. So I think for that, at the start, it was quite perplexing for me, and I actually didn't know what to do. It took a little bit of time for me to recognize, okay, what exactly are my priorities? And I think that's probably one of the things that I kind of learned. Yeah. So I think for me, it really was about balancing my responsibilities and my role. Yeah.
Thanks, Josiah, for sharing. I think after I hear both of you share, I feel so like, I'm not alone. In fact, the things that I face, having to juggle work and family, yet also sometimes I crave for my me time and I don't have it, it totally resonates with me. So, and in fact, at this point, I want to share with everyone, including both of you here, recently at Focus on the Family, we did a father's survey for dads, in line with our Father's Day campaign. Right. So I think we've never done something before, and it was so large scale. The response was amazing. Almost 2,400 dads responded to us, and the dads were keeping it real. They shared about their struggles, and the top 3 struggles that they indicated was, number one, they were the first struggle was coping with work and family responsibilities. All right, that's all of our facing. And number 2, of course, there was financial pressures. All right, having to bring the bread to the table. And number 3, all right, managing our children's behavior and problems. I think that is so true, because now I was just telling a friend, just a few weeks back, that now the home is a battlefield. You have work, you have play, you have a school, you have everything, and it's just all enmeshed together. And we find it sometimes, when tantrums are happening, how do we help our children? How do we help our wives as well to manage the situation too, right? So coincidentally, the results for this survey for dads, there were 2 points that were very similar. All right, 2 struggles that were very similar to a mom survey when we did it about a month ago, which was coping with family responses and managing the child's behavior, the children's behavior. Okay, and of course, 59% of fathers actually experience dad guilt. All right, not having enough time for children due to work. All right, for example, I think just has alluded to it earlier, because he has to juggle. I'm sure, Daryl, in your role as a daddy to your princess, sometimes you have to juggle work, you have to do your home-based learning with your school kids, you can't spend that much time with your girls. That's that guilt that we face, right? Okay, so we talk a lot about struggles, but I think this circuit breaker period is not just about struggling. I'm very certain all of us here discovered something surprising for us too. It's not all bad. I'm sure we have been productive, we learn new things, we managed to surprise ourselves even. So maybe instead of echoing Daryl first now I switch the direction to Josiah, right? So maybe you can share with us, as a working dad, what have you learned during this circuit breaker period that maybe has surprised you, or there was something that you did, that will surprise you, the people around you too? Yeah, Josiah, share with us.
Yeah, I think the first thing that came to mind when you asked that question was really that it's it's possible to talk about your emotions with your kid and about how you're feeling. I mean, I think prior to this whole circuit breaker, for me, I always thought that, being a father, you must be strong, because dad always must have the strong persona, like very garang, even if I bleed, I wouldn't cry, but I think it's okay to be vulnerable to your kid. And I think I learned that through the circuit breaker, because I think I was at quite a vulnerable point, especially at the very beginning. I mean, because suddenly, there's this whole situation where we don't know what it's going to be like economically. And then we had to adapt to that whole situation. And then suddenly there's this whole work from home, and you have to balance between, your dad guilt and being a good employee and all sorts of things. And so I came to a point where I didn't know what to do. And I think it was one of the nights where I was trying to put my son to sleep. And we had a very, nice chat about how he was feeling. And I think he actually was the one that asked me, how about you?
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, when I first heard that question, I thought it was, just a kid being a kid lah. But I thought about it for a while, and I tried to really express myself. And I said, you know what? Actually, Papa is a bit scared. Yeah. And I think me saying that, I actually felt stronger in that sense. Yeah. And and me sharing that, I was just reflecting on it, and I realized that it probably helped my kid, really learn that it's okay to have emotions. But then it's really about how you deal with those emotions and what's your reaction, to those emotions. Because I mean, for dads or for parents, you always try to make everything a teachable moment. So I was kind of forced myself also to I'm actually very scared. Then after I backtrack a bit, I'm like, but you know what can we do with this fear? Let's try to process it and everything. Yeah. So I think that was something that I learned, and something that I feel will stick with me beyond the whole circuit breaker period. And I mean, beyond phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Yeah.
Wow, that's so precious. Just being real and authentic, even with your son, at such a young age, but you're just so willing to be vulnerable. And I like, Josiah, what you mentioned about, the strength of fathers sometimes is, because we are the leader of the household, the head of the household, we often want to be strong and, thank a lot of things for the family. But actually, deep down inside our hearts, we also, have real emotions. We have fear. We are scared. We are concerned about a lot of things. And I want to encourage all the fathers who are tuning in. It is okay, just like what Josiah mentioned. It is okay times, just to be vulnerable and share our emotions with our spouse, and even with our children here. Josiah, a quick question for you. So when you share that you are scared with your boy, how was his response?
He was silent. I think he was also shocked. To be honest, I think he didn't know how to react as well. Yeah, but I think again, it went back to processing and asking him, do you think it's okay for Papa to feel scared? And then he actually said yes. And then I asked, do you sometimes feel scared as well? And then he said yes. So then I think we went on to ask each other, so what can we do with this fear? Yeah, I mean, of course, we asked about what you're scared about, and what can you do. And I think that really helped quite a bit. Yeah. I think it ended with, Papa, we can be strong together, right? Yeah. And I think there wasn't a solution. There wasn't a conclusion about what we can do, but there was really that sense of bonding and that sense of acknowledgement. Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for being so real again to share. I really love to share. I think that picking that moment and became transforming to a teachable moment with your son, and letting him know that it's okay, and we're going to go through this together. And daddy is a superhero in your eyes, but daddy also faced certain worries, and I think that whole processing, I really like it. I mean, considering you're such a busy person as a media professional, but yet you intentionally devote time to process and have that intentional time with your son, to talk about emotions. That's really awesome. Okay, we don't neglect Daryl. Since Daryl there, and I sense Daryl just has something to share, right? Come on, Daryl, tell us what is something that you have learned that surprises you as a working father during this circuit breaker period.
Yeah, actually, what Josiah shared, I just add on a bit, okay, EJ? Yeah, because it got me thinking about my girl. I'm quite a firm believer of engaging my kids in their social emotional competencies. That's big part of my teaching in school lah. So I really agree. I think that as dads, we need to be vulnerable. In fact, I tell my girls a lot of time, especially when I'm upset or angry, I share with them. These are the times where they get to see that, daddy, yes lah, hero, like to play, always come to me to have fun, but I also got feelings on, so when they do wrong things, I also can get upset. When mommy and me, maybe have an argument, daddy can be angry. I also need time out. So, they also learn that what is time out for them, what is time out for daddy. When I'm in my room, they come in and ask me, are you okay? Yeah, so I think it's very precious. I thank Josiah for sharing that point. Yeah, although I didn't intend to share that. Yeah, so thank you. I think it's good. I hope daddies out there are willing, more open to share this part of their life to their kids.
Yeah, in fact, I really appreciate all of you share, because I think what we maybe in general, most of us dads and guys usually think that being vulnerable is like a weakness, all right? But actually this is just a whole shift where this weakness can be transformed if you intentionally know how to make it, it can be a strength, a strength to create a safe space to connect with your children. And I love what one of our audience, posted in the Facebook comment. It says that it's so powerful, from Vicky, it's so powerful that parents and dads especially share openly about their emotions, right? That's how our children feel safe with us, with their emotions too. When we learn to be vulnerable, we're actually telling our kids it's okay, and in the growing years, this is also like role modeling, right? Then as they grow up, when they are facing certain challenge, their struggles, they remember this is a safe space, and parents have modeled the way, and it's okay for them to be vulnerable and to share as well. So really, applause for all of you. Really, I love this panel because we are not just sharing from a position of victory. We are so good, perfect, but we also struggle and we learn through that journey. And this is where I want to encourage all the parents, especially dads who are tuning in. Really, this is really just being authentic here, and we learn from each other. We may have made mistakes along the way, but hey, let's get up and let's try again too. All right. Now moving on. All right. I've actually wanted to share this. There was this back survey for dads that Focus on the Family did. I think this is really commendable for the dads out there. So big shout out to all the fathers out there, especially if you've done this survey with us. Right, almost 73%, 72.7% of fathers, all right, indicated increased involvement with their family. Wow, that's so amazing. All right, during this circuit breaker period, with 85%, all right, saying that they're connecting more with their children during this period. I think this is precious. This is amazing. All right, and out of it, 65.4% of the fathers shared that the main reason for their increased involvement is because they have more time at home. All right, just like you and I here, we got more time to connect with our children. All right, and another piece of results says that close to 43% of the dads actually indicated that they share child caregiving responsibilities less equally with their wives most of the time. That's really heartening and very encouraging to hear. And 2/3 of the dads indicated satisfaction with their work-life balance during this circuit breaker period. All right, so in all honesty, and to everyone out there, if you're tuning in, this circuit breaker, has brought us struggles for all of us working dads. It's a challenge, all right, but it has also yielded very surprising results, opportunities to connect with the children because of the extended time together. And of course, what Daryl and Josiah has mentioned, the intentionality to connect, to process, and to have fun with the kids as well. All right, so it's really good. Okay, so we are going to, we are on the train now, and we're going to just move along. Okay, we have talked about circuit breaker, we have talked about struggles, we have talked about surprising lessons that you learned. Now we want to look ahead. All right, it's the new norm. All right? Everybody has been using this word new norm. New norm. I'm very sure both of you have heard this word new norm. So maybe, and thankfully, we have exited circuit breaker, going to phase 1, phase 2, and 3. This new norm. All right. How do you plan to up your game as a working dad, right? Based on all the experiences you have learned during this circuit breaker season. Right? So entering the new norm, how do you plan to up your game? All right, working dads. Daryl, come on, share with us.
Okay. Okay, actually, I didn't get to share my surprise lesson just now. You skipped me, but it's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
But I think it's actually linked to how I up my game. I think someone actually asked me, I think it was in this fathers groups. They say that, so he asked a question. So after we pass this circuit breaker, what are some of the things that you are going to miss doing with your kids and your family? So I actually commented in that chat as a challenge to myself. I say that I hope I don't have to miss them, which I'm going to make it happen from now onwards. That it is something that I'm going to take it as a lesson learned from this circuit breaker. Yeah. So how to up my game? I think, in fact, just now the surprise lesson for myself is that I realized that I can never be involved enough with my kids. I don't know whether did I get it correctly. Yeah, I used to think that maybe I'm quite involved, but through this circuit breaker, I realized that they never get enough of me.
And it's a good thing, right? It's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's just that we have our priorities, So my point is that the intentionality that we need to really treasure these new milestones that we'll get from this CB and try to make it happen. If it means something to you, if you think that you haven't, dads out there, you haven't been involved, and now that you're more involved, then make it happen by coming home early. One of the things that I think we do a lot, and it's going to be a new norm for me, is that we have been eating almost every meal together. Breakfast, lunch, supper, tea time, every single meal. Yeah, and it is home meals. So I want to emphasize about family meals as a very powerful priority. That in fact, the surprising thing was that actually it's okay not to go out and eat lah. Yeah, in fact, my wife told me we save quite a bit. Yeah, because she did check lah, and she said that healthy also. So moving forward, I think something to make it happen is that family meals, and we want to make it that it's not family meals outside, it's family meals at home. I think it's just different when we have at home. Outside, kids are always distracted. After this, want to go where? Mommy also distracted with shopping. Daddy also distracted with other things, like gadgets and stuff. Yeah, but at home, at family tables, if there's a house rule that gadgets is not allowed, that time is very powerful, unique, and special for myself. So I think being intentional to come back home early, because I think I need to treasure my kids' childhood. Yeah, my wife has been looking at a lot of their baby photos during this period, and
wow.
Yeah, they grow up fast, right? So they are not going to be 4 years old again, really.
Yeah.
So during this CB, it has made me understand that no matter how much I'm involved, it's not enough. Yeah. So then don't think that it's ever enough, because the kids need us around during their growing up years. Yeah.
Continue to cherish the moments you have with your family, especially your children in these growing years. And and I love what you said, Daryl, about the things that you were challenged and forced to do because of circuit breaker, having meals at home, quality time at home. Even as you exit circuit breaker, let's keep it. Don't lose it. Right? Don't, because circuit breaker ended, then we just revert back to our pre-COVID kind of season, right? And I think a lot of our Facebook audiences are really attesting to this. All right. Joshua says that I'm gonna miss the extended time with my girl, and circuit breaker is over. And one of our viewers also mentioned, wow, circuit breaker has allowed him to have 200% more time all right, with his son. Okay, and it's amazing. How about you, Josiah? Tell us, okay, how entering this new norm, what's it for you? How you up your
Yeah.
game, man?
So I think similar to Daryl, before circuit breaker, I used to OT quite a lot because of the nature of my work. I mean, deadlines are always there. But now because circuit breaker, I'm always at home, and because physically my family is here. I was kind of I wouldn't say forced, but I was kind of compelled more to spend time with them, especially when it comes to bedtime. So when I OT last time, I would have been in the office, and by the time I'm home, my kid would have already slept. Yeah, and so I don't really get to spend that time as much. So I think for me, what I intentionally would really like to do post circuit breaker is to make sure that I'm always there, at least for his bedtime. So even if I have to OT, it's really about making sure I come back early. So like you, Daryl, so that I can really either tell him a bedtime story or to, like what I shared with you earlier, talk to him about his day and, all about my day. Yeah. Also because I realized during this circuit breaker period that after talking to him in his, and putting him to sleep, actually it's easier for me to go back to work because, and it actually allows me to be more productive, in fact. Because you kind of need that short break anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think as Singaporeans, a lot of us we feel that got work means must chiong, must make sure that we spend many hours seated at your desk and make sure you complete, then you can move. But I think it becomes counterproductive lah. Yeah, so I mean it became a win-win situation for me, and I think more importantly, I can actually see my kid really appreciating that time that he gets to spend with me. Like even just before he sleeps lah. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Even I'll just reminder of this that as Josiah shared, we all want to be very productive in the area of our work. Efficient. I mean, not just clocking the hours, but finish up a lot on the work. But so often because of trying to be so productive, we compromise on some of these family moments, family times with our children, with our spouses. But yet when like what Josiah and Daryl you mentioned, when even in the busyness, you carve out time to put your child to bed, tell them a story, play with them, that 10, 15 minutes, I think it really sends a signal to our children that they are valuable, they are precious, more valuable than our work, our handphones, and whatever. All right. So thanks for sharing. And I'm very certain all the dads, as we talk about exiting circuit breaker, entering the new norm, all right, we all aspire to be more involved as a father. We have tasted some level of success during circuit breaker, all right, and as we exit circuit breaker, I think through the survey for dads, again back to that survey, the top 3 factors that fathers indicated that can help them to be more involved fathers, all right. Number 1 would be earning more money to provide for their family. I think this really speaks volume about how dads really need to be the provider for the family. They want to, lead the family, support the family. That's really thumbs up to all dads. Number 2, having more time to spend with my children. I think all of us have tasted that during this circuit breaker season, and we want to continue to have that. And being able to manage my child's behavior or problems, I think that's something so precious to know that all dads out there want to be involved. Right? We know managing tantrums are not easy, but we want to be involved to support, and in that process, support our wife too. All right, so that they can get some downtime, they can have their me time as well. I think one of the comments at the earlier phase also mentioned that moms also need me time, not just the dad need me time, the moms also need me time. So this really aligns with, I think, some of the national stats and the surveys that were shown too, that general employees, working employees, enjoy, and want to continue this work from home. In fact, I think about 90% of employees that were surveyed in Engage Rocket survey says that they want to work from home because one of the reasons was they get to spend more time with their families. All right, so this is really good. All right, so as we enter this post-COVID, post-coronavirus thing, how did your experiences during this circuit breaker period? Okay, speak into your parenting approaches, right? The way you parent your child, as you contend with the prospect of your kids growing up in this post-COVID season. How has it changed the way you parent your children? Any interesting things? Maybe Josiah, share first.
Maybe now might be a good time to talk about some of the crazy things that I was doing during this circuit breaker period. Yeah. So for those who might not know, I was actually encouraged by my wife to start a Facebook page called The Socially Distanced Dad. It was started for two reasons. One was to use it as a capsule to record our experiences during this time. So I would actually be making videos with my kid. And I treat it like a shared activity and a shared experience. Yeah, because if not, I would be racking my brains about what to do with my kid, right? And I was media trained, I was film trained, so it was very natural for me to actually use the visual medium of film to express myself and to use that to as a shared activity with my kid. And I think the second reason why we started it is to also help other parents see that they're not alone. That some of the struggles that we are struggling with. We try to be as authentic as we can, and at the same time encourage them. Some of the content is slightly humorous, and if they can find joy, through this period. So I think trying to find that project and that common activity would be my new parenting approach. It used to be about, okay, I am the father, you listen to me, right? That's what you should do. Yeah, but I think while that still is kind of applicable, right? I think my approach has become more collaborative in that sense, where it's about finding moments where it's teachable moments, finding projects that we can do together, activities that we can do together, and to be just very comfortable with each other. Yeah, so I think that was something that inspired me, and we just continued making videos and having fun, and especially during the circuit breaker, because cannot go playground, right?
Yes, so now your home become the playground. You create a playground at home for your child. Yeah. I think thanks for sharing. It's so creative. I mean, I've been watching some of your videos and just having so much laugh, but behind it, I really appreciate, because I know behind creating those videos, it's also quite tiring, honestly. But I think you are creating memories for your son, and I think that's so precious. I think I hear you about the point about parenting approaches that will change during post-COVID, post-coronavirus season will be continue to have that ridiculous fun with a child, and also embracing some of these new projects that you can do not just by yourself but involving your child together, so that you can have more moments and then talks and chats together. I think this really answers one of our viewers' question, where they asked about, hey guys, what concrete plans will you be having in place to be intentional with the family as we enter the new norm? All right, so that's for Josiah, some of the things that he will continue to do. How about Daryl? All right, how has your parenting approach change, adjust post-COVID? And yeah, maybe also to answer this question, what concrete plans will you have in place intentionally for your family during this new norm?
I don't think it will change a lot, but one of the things I think I want to share is that everybody will remember, parenting can be very simple. This circuit breaker, we find that we don't need very complicated things in our parenting. The kids are very adaptable as well, and they can do anything you ask them to do. They can find things to do at home, like Josiah. You can watch some of his videos, which I also did crazy things at home. But the key thing is it's not about the things we do. Actually, the kids, like I said, just want daddy and mommy to be with them. Yeah, so it doesn't have. We don't have to go for an expensive holiday. We don't have to go out to eat. The key thing is that your time with them is very precious. Yeah, and I just want to share with the daddies out there, that if let this circuit breaker be a reset. It's a reset button. I mean, we heard this word. From now onwards, we do something that is meaningful for our family. So I believe that fathers are the one that really confers the identity of your homes. You build the culture. And one of the things we did together a lot during this CB is going cycling. So prior to this, just nice, I bought 2 foldable bikes. Okay, so my wife has one. My elder one just learned only how to ride a bike. I'm teaching my younger one, almost there already. So out of this CB, managed to spend a lot of time teaching her, and that brings me to a good point also. That's be the one that bring all these moments to your kids. I mean, easily can get someone to teach, right? But who is a better person than a dad teaching, right? And then and then the girl next time, my daughter can say, "Oh, my dad taught me." Not my coach, my dad. So encourage that. So so back to the identity. I feel that we will be the ones that set the culture of your homes. Like have a example for me. I think cycling will be something that we are going to do together as a family. Something that my kids will look forward to. That it is something that is done always with daddy and mommy. That we go and do together. Meal times at home is something that they will know that daddy and mommy will be here to eat. Don't let the kids get used to eating without mommy. Don't let them get used to eat without daddy. Oh, daddy is always working, But they look forward. Daddy will be back on. Because dinner time is a time that he treasures. So forming all these family cultures and identities, I think is something that is simple. You just need to discuss, like Josiah, discuss with your kid. If they're old enough, discuss with them. If not, discuss with our wives, our spouses. What is something that it will be a culture in your family. So I think that's one thing that I think post-COVID, right, that we all should do as fathers, to build a stronger foundation, as a family identity.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Daryl. Really good reminders for all of us and those of us tuning in. Post-COVID, how we might want to consider our parenting approaches. Especially for fathers, setting the home culture. Being there for your children. And I like what you mentioned earlier about that sometimes we think of parenting approaches, we always think how to upgrade, right? Must continue upgrade and getting new approaches. But maybe this coronavirus season has taught us to come back to the very core and the basics of parenting, about quality time with our children, and being there when it matters really most. Before we enter the last question, I want to do justice to the audience. They have been posting some really wonderful comments, some affirmation for all of you as well. All right. So one of the comments shout out is for Josiah. He says, "Hey, Josiah, good sharing. From authoritarian parenting approach in the past generation, you guys move towards more authoritative parenting style, still firm, but warm and loving." Wow. Right. And shout out to Percy as well. Percy mentioned that during this circuit breaker season, she appreciated her husband, initiating conversation during meal times with their teenagers and bonding over washing dishes together. And I believe the girls appreciate him too. Again, a reminder, you don't need more fancy things. I would Daryl say, no need fancy holidays, but we appreciate sometimes the simple and the basic stuff. All right. And Joshua, of course, mentioned during CB, circuit breaker, he repaired a chair together with the kids and learned how to make crepes together. I think very true. Circuit breaker, whenever I switch on this social media, I see everybody are very creative nowadays. Got cooking lah, new recipe lah, and many amazing things. So we've come to really nearing the end of our time, time really flies when we're just being authentic and sharing here. So I want to just pose a question, to all of us. Oh, in fact, just pause here for a moment. There's one very important question I was reminded to ask you. This is posed by one of our viewers, all right? And I think this is quite nice, all right, before we enter the last question. All right, guys, who are some of the people who have inspired you in your journey as a father? Wow. Who's your inspiration when you talk about your journey as a father? Josiah?
Actually, there are a few people. So, I'm taking a while because names are just, coming to me. But of course, I do have to mention my own father. My father grew up in a generation where he really had to slog very hard. And sometimes I feel like, wow, circuit breaker, COVID, we're going through so much. And then I think about the things that he has had to go through. To put food on the table, but still, show us that he loves us. I think my own father really has inspired me, in that way. And thanks for the affirmation earlier about, authoritative and all that. I think my father also went through a journey himself, and in fact, as I am reflecting now, I'm also learning that actually he has planted a lot of seeds in me to be able to understand that, I actually can process with my kid, because he has spent some of those moments trying to process certain things with me, and given me the freedom to express myself in that sense. So yeah, if I had to really mention one person, it is my father lah. But if it's not my father, because if that's too too easy an answer, I do have to say that I am very thankful that I'm working in an organization that really respects family culture. And so, I do want to give a shout out to my boss, Jeff. He is running an entire company. But at the same time, through his actions, his words, and even his encouragement, actually, even before this whole show, he's currently in a meeting, I'm sure. But he even texted me, just to assure me and to, affirm me, and to really ask me about, my fathering journey and all that. So he's very involved in families now. So I think we always talk about being a father, but I think being a father in Singapore, we want to chong and, the typical stereotype that we think of ourselves to be, I think takes a certain level as well. Yeah.
Thanks, Josiah. How are you, Daryl? Who's your inspiration?
Josiah got me a bit emotional because he talked about the father. For some of you that know me, I was brought up by my mom, single mom. So I'm still in contact with my dad. Yeah, I think my mom should be watching. I'm not sure. Yeah, but I wouldn't say I have spent a lot of time with my dad, in fact, but he did leave nuggets that guided me, things that I think I need to know as a dad. Yeah, and of course, shout out to my mom as well for doing both jobs. And shout out to all the single moms out there who may be watching. Yeah, it's not easy, but I'm thankful for mentors around me that has guided me along the way. They're all dads. I have friends, can be peers, just like EJ and Josiah. Dads that are empowered to do what a dad should do. And when you are able to have that community to encourage each other, I think that helps a lot in my journey. So I have one or two mentors which are dads. They have children, they share, so that helps a lot in my journey to become the father I need to be. Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl. A reminder again that even as dads, we don't need to go through this journey by ourselves. We can look out for friends, our bosses, people, whom we can trust, who can relate to. They have that space and a community for us to learn to be, more involved dads, better dads, whatever we call it, but a community for us dads. Okay, yeah. So like I said, we're nearing the end. I just have one last question for you guys, and this is really to share with our audience, all right, our Facebook audience, all right, all the working dads as well. So as we enter the new norm, I think many working dads are still trying to grapple with, exiting circuit breaker, trying to settle down into the new ways of working, living, family life. All right. So as we close this session today, what is an advice or what is an encouragement you would give to all the working dads out there?
Okay, I give.
Okay, Daryl.
I just thought of this phrase lah. You and your children and your spouse, right, will only feel as connected to you as a dad or as a husband if you are there to connect with them. Okay, I say again, if they will only feel connected to you, they will only trust you, because connectedness is built on trust, and that is if you are there to connect with them. Without connecting with them on a daily basis, that connectedness that's built on trust and relationship, will be hard to happen. Yeah.
So be intentional to be there and to build that relationship, which of course will lead to strengthening of the trust in the relationship.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daryl. Josiah, closing words for you, encouragement for all of us that's out there.
I think for me, it's really to say that it's okay to not always get it right. Yeah, I think we're always learning, and I know from myself. As a father, I probably made a few mistakes, but I think it's very important to not always look at yourself and to have that dad guilt, and to be drowned by that dad guilt. We always keep talking about this new normal. And I was also realizing the other day that as fathers, right, we are equipped to go through the new normal. Because if you think about it, in our journey as fathers, there will always be a new normal. What I went through when my kid was first born, I thought it was going to be a new normal. And then after he became a toddler, so I thought that it's going to be a new normal as well. And then soon enough, it's going to be a teenager. It's going to be a new normal as well. So I think, being able to adapt, I feel like, there are many dads out there who has adapted. And, if you are still trying to adapt, don't blame yourself. It's really about recognizing that you're not alone. And it's really about recognizing that even if you, make certain mistakes here and there, as long as you keep trying, as long as you keep connecting with your family, like, Daryl said, it's going to be something that we can all do. Yeah.
Thank you, Josiah. I mean, that's really authentic, and again, keeping it very real, because we do make mistakes as dads here and there. But I think the key is rising up again. Let's do better. All right. So thank you for both of you for taking your time to be here to share. And I just want to end off with sharing with all of us here on our live, that Focus on the Family. If you've heard me share about that survey for dads, all right. We, as part of the campaign for Father's Day, Focus on the Family, has developed a deck of resources, compiled many wonderful, amazing stories, just like what you have heard from Daryl and Josiah. And we've placed it on like a microsite, and it's on the screen. You can see there. Do head down there. To enjoy the resources for yourselves, but also, why not forward it and share it with some of your other friends too. The website is family.org.sg/stronger with that. I really love the theme of this campaign, stronger with that. Our children, like both of you, Daryl and Josiah, mentioned, as we make time, be intentional, doing things together with our children, when it really matters most, all right, our children will grow up really stronger with that. All right. So with that, I thank you once again. Big thanks to Daryl and Josiah. If you're still around on the Facebook Live, why not you just give us a thumbs up, we call it heart shape, all right, just to affirm the panelists, all right, our guests, for sharing really their hearts out this evening. And so thank you for all the audience for tuning in, all right, and your comments, we really appreciate it a lot. And if you have any more questions, do feel free to plonk it in the comment section below. And if you find this video has been really helpful, all right, after the video ends, it's still on Facebook, share it out with all your friends too, all right. thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. And with that, we will sign out for this tonight. All right. Take care, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy. Bye.
Bye.